how do you tariff-proof your pantry? First, assess where your food is coming from that is already in your pantry / freezer / fridge. That way you'll know what might get their prices increased over, when all of this stuff hits. There's a lot of, we're gonna have tariffs, we're not gonna have tariffs. That's just a little confusing, I think, for everybody. But what I do know is that the price at the grocery store is only going up. If they go up with tariffs, I just don't see a grocery store bringing the prices down again if the tariffs comes down. So know where your food is coming from so that you can at least know what you might want to go ahead and stock up on. Once you find the things in your pantry that may need to be adjusted, i.e. stocked up on, go ahead and start making a list and look for the best prices, especially when they're on sale or if you have a coupon for them. Go ahead, if it's got a long shelf life, especially pantry or freezer, go ahead, load up on them if you can. Find domestic alternatives. This may actually just be going through the grocery, or you could do it online as well, because when you click on an item and you're about to put it in the cart, it usually gives you a front picture and a back picture. And on that back picture, not only will it have the ingredients, because I often look at that just to make sure that it doesn't have animal products in it, but it should also tell you where it's coming from. As we kind of talked about the second time, is stock up on what you use. Have a realistic idea of what meals are in your rotation, because we all have rotations. At least most people I know have rotations. And yeah, you're gonna throw a new recipe in there every once in a while, but typically in a 1 to 2 week period, you know what you're going to be eating on the regular. For example, for me, breakfast, typically toast either with hummus or peanut butter, and fruit, either way actually. Bananas if it's peanut butter, fruit on the side if it's hummus, because that would taste odd. My second meal, I eat lunch. If we're gonna call it that, I just usually think of it as my second meal. It's gonna be half veggies, whether it's roasted, steamed, or fresh. And then I'm gonna have starch in there with beans and potatoes or grains, something like that. And then typically my dinner is going to be either a huge salad with beans and a grain in it, or it's going to be a soup that is like a veggie bean soup that may or may not have quinoa, rice, potatoes, or something else like that in it. I mean, if I look at a 2 week period for me, now I am just me, I know about how much fruit I need, I know about how much veggies I need, I know what specific veggies I need, what beans and what grains, because that's usually the structure I have. But I know a lot of families, they'll do the same thing. They'll have, whether it is spaghetti or salads or pizza or tacos or things like that, that you actually buy a lot, and almost every week or every 2 weeks, depending on how you shop, then really look at those and go, okay, do I need to stock up on them, and are there domestic alternatives? And as I talked about, buying on sale and buying with coupons, always a great idea. And buying in bulk, because like I have said, now granted, you have to look at the ounce per ounce or pound per pound prices. But typically when you buy 25 or 50 pounds of something and you have the ability to store it, which is key in this, you're gonna get a better price than if you buy 1 pound. Another thing that I had actually not thought of, in the grand scheme of things, it's always a good idea, but really bringing down the eating out while you control the tariff things that are the things with tariffs that you eat in your own house, you don't control that in the restaurants. You might get hit with increased prices, not because just prices and inflation and all that sort of stuff, but because some of the items that you are getting in the restaurant have tariffs on them. I had not actually thought about that. This is the list of things that might have tariffs on them. Honestly, some of these I use, some of them I don't use. So, and some were actually a little surprising. Coffee. Most of our coffee is imported. My sister and I have a tendency to max out when Costco, just the delivery Costco, has their Pete's on sale. I think it's like £2 pounds. But they'll have like, you can buy 5. And so each of us will order 5 and then we just share it. But coffee is a big one. It's gonna have tariffs on it. Sugar. Most sugar, not in the United States. And I guess it does make sense. I don't actually cook with a ton of sugar unless I'm canning jams and jellies. So that will not affect me personally, but it might affect you. So something to think about. Rice. Rice will affect me. I have a tendency to buy rice in bulk. If it is white rice, which I don't get a lot, that actually I get by the 20 or 25 pounds at Costco for about $1 a pound, which is great. And then my brown rice, I actually bring it down. I don't buy different varieties of brown rice. I buy one, and that's short grain brown. It's my favorite. I use it for everything. And I buy that at 15 pounds at a time from Amazon. And it's on subscription, so I'm still getting some percentage off on that. But you store it in the freezer. So you gotta have freezer space for it. And that is that buying in bulk, you have to have space for it. Chocolate, especially darker chocolates, because it has a higher percentage of the cocoa butter, and that is not grown in the United States. If it's the milk, more the milk chocolate, you're gonna have more sugar, more milk, which will decrease the amount of chocolate butter that's actually, or the cocoa butter that's being used. Therefore, it will not go up as much. Vanilla makes sense. Vanilla plantations down in French Polynesia. Also something to load up on. And Italian products, if made in Italy, pastas, sauces, and olive oil. Big one on the olive oils. Canned goods, not because of what's actually in the can, but the can itself, because there will be tariffs on steel and aluminum. So that will increase it. I saw them showing like cans of tuna, obviously not something I'm going to buy, but just because of the can, I think it does go up. Plus, if the tuna's coming from places like Japan and places like that, it will go up as well. I also saw pineapple. I just naturally assumed, and it was a me assumption, and an assumption, which makes an asset of you and me, but, or at least me. Pineapple, I just assumed it was all from Hawaii. It's not. The pineapple will go up as well, not only the steel can, but if the pineapple is not from the United States. And green beans. I never would have thought of green beans, but yes. Hopefully you got something from this. Stock up that pantry, buy on sale, buy in bulk, buy with coupons. Make sure you do not waste anything that you get. Hopefully you got something from this. Give me a big thumbs up. Smash that like button if you got any value from it. And subscribe. I'm gonna be here for a while, so you might as well come along for the ride. Bye, guys.